Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
House Deputy Speaker Ronnie Puno told News 5 that Congressman Martin Romualdez will resign as House Speaker today.
Tropical depression Mirasol has made landfall over Kasiguran, Aurora.
The Court of Appeals froze the assets of public works officials and contractors involved in anomalous flood control projects.
Metro Manila mayors have approved a uniform parking ban on national primary roads to ease traffic congestion. All right,
So much happening today. Well, of course, itong rumor na itong nasa headline natin ay matagal na nangyari. And people were denying it, but you said, and I said, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, so yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, last night, ang ating mobile journalist na si Arles de los Santos was able to take a video of people removing stuff from the office of the House Speaker, Martin Romualdez. So yun na, doon na nagsisirculate yung balita na, ito na ba yun? Ito na ba yung pinag-uusapan for days, for weeks rather?
Nagpapalitan ng furniture dahil nameplate, pati nameplate daw ng speaker nilabas. And yung pagtatanggal ng gamit came after he met with his cousin, si President Bongbong Marcos. All right, House Deputy Speaker Ronnie Puno told News 5 that Congressman Martin Romualdez will resign as House Speaker today. Isabella's 6th District Representative Boji D. III is reportedly set to replace Romualdez. Prior to this, staff were seen packing up Speaker Romualdez's things, including his nameplate last night. Here's the report.
House personnel were seen moving out items from the office of Speaker Martin Romualdez on Tuesday. This comes amid swirling rumors of a leadership change in the House of Representatives. According to a source, Romualdez will step down as Speaker later this afternoon at the plenary session. Yesterday, the source said Romualdez went to Malacanang Palace. He was expected to meet with his cousin, President Bongbong Marcos, to discuss the House leadership. It remains unclear who initiated the meeting. So far, both the palace and the Speaker have remained silent. The House of Representatives is a co-equal branch of Malacanang, and the President has no power to directly choose the next Speaker, as this post is elected by lawmakers. But Navota's Representative Toby Chanco said lawmakers are waiting for Malacanang's cue since they all support the President.
The most important vote is not inside the House of Representatives, di ba?
Where is it?
Hindi, it's out of respect. Di ba walang gagalaw dito because out of respect doon sa Malacanang. Di ba? So, yun naman iniintay ng lahat, di ba? Kung ano yung, siyempre lahat naman kami, we are supportive of the President.
At yesterday's session, no motion was filed to declare the Speaker's seat vacant. The session briefly resumed, then was suddenly suspended again, lasting less than 20 minutes before adjourning. Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte insisted that Romualdez should indeed be replaced.
Dapat lang talaga. Dahil nakita niyo naman yung budget 2023, 24, 25 at lahat yung mga past budgets natin. Nakita natin na it was under the leadership of Speaker Martin Romualdez.
As the issue deepens, Cavite 4th District Representative Kiko Barzaga openly admitted his ambition to take over the speakership, even saying he hoped Majority Leader Sandro Marcos would not block his move.
I'm going to take Speaker Romualdez's speakership, and I hope Majority Leader Sandro Marcos won't hold it against me or won't stand in my way.
Others being floated as possible successors include Deputy Speaker Faustino Boji D. of Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, Representatives Ronnie Puno and Albert Garcia of the National Unity Party, and Senior Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez of Lakas CMD. All have yet to release a statement. For News 5, I'm Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
Now let's get the reaction of ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino, who's gonna join us now. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Kong. Kong, can you hear us okay? Kong, nakamute po ata kayo. Kong, let's try that again. Kong, good morning.
Hello.
Ayun.
Hello.
Good, good, good. All right, so Representative Puno already confirmed that Romualdez will resign today. What is your reaction to this po?
Well, I would say that this is looking back, the inevitable outcome of um, the the way the corruption scandal relating to flood control projects. Um, uh, well, this is the inevitable outcome. Is a change in leadership in the House in the same way that that happened in the Senate. No? Because of course we're talking about the budgets for flood control, which have reached unprecedented levels under this administration, and these budgets were passed by the House and Senate, and so the leadership of both houses have accountability.
So you think ito pong if ever na matuloy yung resignation po mamaya ni Speaker will pave the way for a deeper investigation into all of these anomalies, Congressman?
Well, it should, because there is new leadership both in the Senate and the House. Then but we should hope that this will mean that the members of the leadership, that includes the Senate President and the Speaker of the House, as well as the chairs of the Committee on Appropriations, because they're the ones who really know and can answer questions about what happened to the 2025 budget, as well as the other budgets, and how it came to be that massive insertions of pet projects came about, and who exactly were the sponsors of this, and so on.
Yep, of course, Congressman, yung next moves po ng mga hearing tsaka ng Congress as a whole will depend po kung sino po ang magiging next speaker. Ang daming names po nagko-float around, no? Kay Congressman Suarez, you also have si Congressman D. But sa inyo pong naririnig or sa inyong napupusuan, sino po ang, if ever, nagka-chance po kayo bumoto? Sino po boboto niyong speaker?
Well, minority kami. So by definition, we do not support the speaker. No, so and we will remain with the minority.
Okay.
Pero ang narinig ko sa mga usap-usapan dito is looks like there's a consensus among the major parties that make up the majority coalition that it will be Isabela, the congressman from Isabela, Congressman D, Bonji D.
Yeah.
So mukhang siya na po.
Yeah. Yeah, we heard about that too, and it was also a statement came from Congressman Puno. But what do you think of him? Do you think he's capable of, investigating and going in deeper into the budget?
Well, I don't know him personally, but what I know about him is he belongs to the president's party, Partido Federal. So that's one. I mean, no one can become speaker without support or the go signal of the president. So I suppose this is, if he does become speaker, this is that's the president's choice as well. No, he was a former governor of Isabela, and he belongs to the D dynasty in Isabela. So if you look at the people in power in Isabela, a lot of them have the same surname.
Yes. Pero Congressman, so what happens now? Will all the speakers' position lang ang magiging bakante po, or will there be a massive revamp of different committee chairmans?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, ang narinig po natin is resignation of the speaker, and then there will be election of the speaker. I think walang plano. There is no plan for anyone to move to declare all positions vacant. So that's usually the way in which change of leadership in the House happens, is someone moves to declare all positions vacant. Pero ibig sabihin nun, if that were to happen, then there would be a change in the speaker, but also in all the other positions, majority leader, chairmanship of committees, and so on, deputy speakers. But I think what is being discussed, or actually what has been negotiated over these past few weeks, is for like a surgical change in leadership. So I don't think we can expect um other changes in the other positions, other leadership positions in the House.
So, Kong, what do you think happened here? Few weeks ago, matindi yung denial na malakas pa rin ang majority pa rin ang support kay House Speaker Martin Romualdez, and that he even hired or, di ba, announced na meron siyang speaker to talk about this issue. So, what do you think happened here? Bakit finally meron ng gantong hakbang to resign? And not even
Well, I
leave of
think-
absence kasi ibang suggestion sa kanya mag-leave of absence lang.
Well, I think this is a response to the build-up of public pressure. In the same way that this happened much earlier in the Senate, so it became untenable for Senator Escudero to remain a Senate president, given his that he was being tagged for involvement for accepting campaign donations from a big contractor. So similar pressure has built up regarding the speaker and his role as well, as I keep saying, in the budgets that have been passed. So I guess this is inevitably the result is this, that he was he made the decision to resign.
So definitely, Congressman, is it like stopping short of saying that he is directly involved, but rather saying na meron talagang involvement ang speaker dito sa mga nangyayari sa House?
Well, of course, mayroong involvement ang speaker sa lahat ng nangyayari sa House. I mean, that goes without saying. So, kaya nga, I think in the end, he had to accept that he has to face responsibility or take accountability for what happened under his watch.
All right. Of course, sabi nga nila, what happens after this? Sabi nila, this resignation is just, is meant to come the public because malapit na yung malawakang rally sa September
Sunday.
21. What do you think about this move?
Well, I suppose that's part of the timing of the decision. That's a consideration as well. But I think the public will expect more than just a leadership change. More than that, they expect that all of this will lead to criminal charges being filed, and people actually going to jail. We're talking about the plunder of hundreds of millions of pesos, not just for a single year, but over several years, involving flood control projects. So dapat may makulong, yun ang ini-expect. But even more than that, tingin ko, this has happened before with the Napoles pork barrel scandal more than a decade ago. Meron ding mga nakulong doon, pero as we can see, the pork barrel system was not really abolished, but just took on new forms, and the problem of corruption became even worse. So ibang magnitude ng corruption ngayon. So really, apart from holding people accountable, we need to change or abolish this pork barrel system, which is at the root of this particular form of corruption.
Alright, siguro panghabol na lang natin, Kong, do you think with this new leadership, Congressman Zaldico will resurface and finally answer all the allegations against him about the budget of last year?
Oo, Kong, kasi he's the second most mentioned name aside from the speaker.
Well, he was the chair of the Committee on Appropriations, so he has to show up. Kung si Speaker ay haharap, tingin ko dapat si Congressman Zaldi rin.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you for your time, ACA Teachers Party List Congressman Antonio Tino, and we hope to have you back on the show.
Maraming salamat po. Magandang umaga.
Right, and now let's get more updates from the House of Representatives. We have mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Arles, umiinit ngayon ang nangyayari sa lower house. Any updates?
Magandang umaga, Diego at Angela. No, kanina nga ay nagkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na makausap mismo sa telepono si House Deputy Speaker Ronaldo Puno, kung saan nga sinabi niya na 3 weeks ago or a month ago ay nasa kinokonsidera na nga ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez na magbitiw bilang pinakamataas na leader sa Kamara. Kaya nga sa mga pagbabago dito, talagang patuloy na tinututukan niyan. Ayon kay Puno ay may basbas na raw ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang pagbibitiw na yan, at actually nga talagang patuloy daw ang pakikipag-ugnayan nito ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez sa iba pang mga matataas na opisyal ng liderato ng Kamara. Ngayong hapon ay inaasahan natin na magkakaroon ng talumpati si House Speaker Martin Romualdez sa harap ng iba pang kasama niyang mga mambabata. So far, hinintay pa rin natin ang kumpirmasyon kung si Isabela 6th District Representative Boji DD3 nga ang papalit sa kanya. Pero so far dito ang development, may nakuha tayong mga balita na si Boji D ay nasa loob daw ng opisina ng speaker at hinihintay na lamang natin ang development na yun.
Well, Arles, when you mean sa loob ng opisina, nag-transfer na ng gamit?
Hindi pa natin nakikita na nag-transfer na ng gamit, pero may mga ulat na hindi natin sigurado kung sumilip o talagang may nag-stay na doon. Wala pang development ngayon so far dahil mula nga kagabi nung nakita natin na naglalabas na ng mga gamit sa opisina ni House Speaker ay nagsimula na talagang mainit na tutukan itong opisina ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Yun nga yung tatanong ko baka pwede mo kami i-walk through dyan. Pwede ba? Are you allowed to do that? Tignan natin kung kung wala na ba talaga, bakante na yung opisina ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez dyan. Kasi kahapon nakita ko yung video mo, Arles
Arles,
nakita ko
para
yung mga nagmo-move ng gamit.
maintindihan na ng tao na kung ano yung itsura kahit from the outside, itsura ng Office of the Speaker.
Pero maglalakad tayo ng kaunti,
Yes.
okay? So, kasi nandito tayo sa kabilang side,
Anong floor yan,
ito,
Arles?
Nasa second floor tayo ng North Wing. Yeah. So titingnan lang natin, kasama natin yung iba pang mga kapatid natin sa media na nag-aabang dito sa labas mismo. Yeah.
Yan,
So ayan
maraming
ang
tao.
kasalukuyang sitwasyon dito ngayon.
So yan ang pintuan sa room ng Speaker, Arles?
Itong tinuturo ko na ito, Diego.
Yes,
Yan
okay.
mismo.
Kung saan may maraming media.
So dyan sa loob daw dyan, nandyan si Congressman D.
Ayan ang ayon sa ulat na mga kasama
Punta ka
natin
pa
dito. Kaya
doon, try mo
nagsitakbuhan din agad.
silipin. Yan. Okay, for those who just tuned in, we have our mobile journalist, Arles de los Santos in the House of Representatives, at we're trying to see kung sino yung nasa loob ngayon ng opisina ng House Speaker.
Kasi this was after Arles, yung video mo yesterday na naglalabas ng gamit ni Speaker Romualdez, no, Arles?
Tama ka dyan, Diego. Dito rin mismo yon sa lugar na iyon.
Ayun, so far wala ka pa nakikitang gamit na pinapasok?
So far, wala pa naman, Diego, At hinihintay natin pa din yung mga development na yan kasi mamaya sa Kamara, syempre titignan natin kung magkakaroon nga ba ng botohan para sa bagong speaker dahil kung matatandaan natin, meron kasing rules itong House na sa pagkakataon na hindi magagampanan ng House Speaker ang kanyang tungkulin bilang pinakamataas na lider ng Kamara ay maaaring mamili sa mga House Deputy Speakers kung sino nga ba ang kanilang.
Yes, Arles, nawala. Sayang, ganda sinasabi ni Arles.
Mobile kasi to si Arles, baka nawala ng signal doon.
Oo,
So we were talking about nga, baka daw kasi mamaya na yung mangyaring plenary nila para magtalaga ng bagong House Speaker. Formally, mag-resign si House Speaker Martin Romualdez and magtalaga ng bagong
What
House
is clear kasi, what is not clear is ano yung mode. Kasi if he formally resigns and magiging bakante, they'll have to vote. So that means there's more than one na tatakbo. But if he is unable to discharge his duties as Speaker, ang gagawin ni Speaker, he will appoint from one of the deputies. That is different kasi magiging OIC capacity lang. Diba? So yan ang sayang gusto natin malaman from Arles. Ano naririnig
And
nila?
also, we were able to ask Congressman Tino kung pagpapalit ng liderato, papalitan din ba yung mga committee chairmanship?
Parang hindi daw eh.
Oh, yun ang sinabi nila.
So parang wala rin sweeping reforms na inaasahan ng iba because you're keeping the same majority in place and you're just removing the
That's
leader.
why, diba, they're saying that this move, diba, we should not be celebrating
No.
because parang itong mga resignation na ganito, yung mga klase ng resignation often are often meant to calm the public down, especially meron ng malawakang protesta sa September 21.
But if they don't revamp kasi yung mga positions sa House, I don't think this will appease the public. It may appease some of those in the Duterte bloc who are angry at Speaker Romualdez, di ba, yung kampo nila VP
Yes.
Sara. But a general public, I don't think so. Sabi ng iba, you need to reform most of the committees daw in order to appease yung galit ng tao.
And then yun nga, yung as
Ayun, is that
what
Arles?
Congressman, andyan na ba siya? Arles, are you back?
Narinig niyo ba ako?
Ayun,
Angela?
okay. You were saying about the rules.
Oh, Arles, you were saying kasi alam ko dalawang option yan eh. Either mag-resign siya, bakante, magbotohan, or he appoints.
Yeah. Yun yung dalawang paraan no para magkaroon ng bagong House Speaker, resignation at ayun nga kung magkakaroon ng leave of absence o liliban at hindi magagampanan ng House Speaker, ang kanyang posisyon nga ay magkakaroon ng pagpili doon sa mga pinakamatataas na leader ng Kamara. Yun nga yung mga tinatawag natin House Deputy Speakers. So dito nakalista yan sila Representative Garin, sila Representative Puno, sina Representative Bogie D3rd. Na kung saan, ayon nga sa pahayag natin kay DS Puno, si Bogie D3rd daw ang inirekomenda nito ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Na kung makikita natin at susundan natin, no, ito may mga ulat na ito ay personal na kaibigan ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at isa siya sa pinakamakapangyarihang pamilya doon sa Isabela, kung saan ilang taon na nga rin na namumuno ang kanilang pamilya sa lugar na iyon.
So parang sinasabi mo, Arles, if magka-election, may numero si Bogie D from the other congressmen?
Maaari nating sabihin yan, Diego, no? Pero kagabi pa lang ay kinumpirma na nga na bakante na ang posisyon at magkakaroon na ng House Speaker. Talagang formal na lamang na pagbitiw ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez ang aasahan mamaya at yung nominasyon kung magkakaroon ba ng majority vote ang Kamara o yung pagpili na lamang ng mga Deputy Speaker.
Okay, maraming salamat. That was our mobile journal, Arles de los Santos, live at the House of Representatives.
Mainit
Oo, kaya nga 'di ba yung inaantay natin dito, not just resignation but also finally may magkaroon ng deeper probe doon sa usapin ng sinasabi nilang most corrupt budget noong 2025.
Bakit? Pag nandiyan ba si current speaker, walang deeper probe?
No, because kasi, di ba, siya yung leadership. What
you're right.
happened under his leadership?
Sabi kasi ni PBBM, if compromised ka, it might hinder the investigation.
Oo.
May
And then sabi na, di ba, walang maniniwala sa atin. Sabi ni PBBM, pag sinabi natin walang kamag-anak, walang ganito-ganito.
Di ba sabi niya, the best,
unless magkaroon ng example.
sabi ni Presidente, the best way to prove it is mangyari.
Yes.
Ganun.
Pero ang usapan dyan, bakit nagpunta sa opisina ni PBBM when in fact this should be a co-equal branch? No, dapat walang pakialam. Diba? In reality.
In reality naman, hindi.
Alright. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. In weather, Tropical Depression Mirasol is now traversing northern Luzon. Let's get the latest from Pag-asa weather forecaster, specialist Lian Loreto. Hi, Miss Lian. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Miss Angela and Sir Angela at sa lahat po ng ating mga taga-subaybay. Ito nga pong si Tropical Depression Mirasol ay kasalukuyan po ay binabagtas na ang Northern Luzon area at nasa vicinity na po ito ng San Agustin, Isabela. Meron po itong dalang hangin na abot sa 55 kilometers per hour at bugso na abot sa 90 kilometers per hour. Sa ngayon, kumikilos po ito pa west-northwestward sa bilis na 25 kilometers per hour at ito nga pong ating forecast ay patuloy pa rin po ito mag-northwestward na motion at lalabas po dito sa may Luzon Strait bukas po ng umaga. Pero sa ngayon nga po nakikita natin na posible pa rin po itong mag-intensify bilang isang tropical storm category. At sa ngayon pinapalakas din ito ang southwest monsoon o habagat. Kaya't nakataas po yung ating tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 sa may Batanes, Cagayan, pati na rin sa may Babuyan Islands, Isabela, Quirino, sa may northern at central portions ng Aurora, Apayao, Abra, Kalinga, Mountain Province, pati na rin po sa may Ifugao, sa northeastern portion ng Benguet, Nueva Vizcaya, Ilocos Norte, at Ilocos Sur. Kaya't mag-ingat po yung ating mga kababayan sa mga bugso-bugso na hangin na dala nitong ating Tropical Depression Mirasol. Sa ngayon nga po, yung southwest monsoon natin ay magdadala rin ng mga malalakas na pag-ulan dito po sa may western sections ng Visayas at Mindanao, pati na rin po sa may southern Luzon area at pwede pong umabot sa 50 to 100 millimeters po yung ating mga pag-ulan dun po sa mga nabanggit na lugar. Dito din po sa may Aurora, posible po na mas malakas pa sa 200 millimeters na pag-ulan ang pwedeng ibagsak nitong ating Tropical Depression Mirasol, pati na rin po sa mga nalalabing bahagi ng northern Luzon, kaya't mag-ingat din po sa posibilidad ng mga flash floods at landslides. Miss Angela, Sir Angela.
Yes, paano sa Metro Manila? Any rainfall warning?
Sa ngayon, wala naman po tayong nakataas na rainfall warning sa Metro Manila. Ngunit mag-ingat pa rin po yung ating mga kababayan dahil apektado po tayo nitong ating Tropical Depression Mirasol. Kaya't makulimlim po tayo at meron po tayong mga kalat-kalat na mga pag-ulan sa buong araw.
Aside from Mirasol po, meron pa po ba tayong nakikitang iba pang weather systems within our vicinity?
So, meron nga po tayong low pressure area. Sa ngayon, nasa labas pa naman po ito ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. Pero posible na nga po itong pumasok ng ating PAR ngayong araw po. So, possibly tonight po. At sa ating forecast ay nag-intensify pa rin po ito o mas lumalakas pa na pwede rin pong palakasin ang habagat natin. Kaya expect po natin throughout the week dito po sa may southern at central Luzon, pati na rin sa may Visayas ay apektado po tayo nitong ating habagat kaya't malalakas po yung ating mga pag-ulan.
Itong papasok po na nasa labas pa po ng impossible na pumasok sa Philippine Air Responsibility natin, saan naman po yung tahak niya?
Sa ating po nakikita, posible po dito sa may northern or central Luzon area pa rin po yung kanyang posibilidad na tahakit. At sa atin namang nakikita, posible papunta po sa may Taiwan area. Kaya ito pong mga track nito ay ideal po dun sa enhancement ng ating habagat. Kahit malayo po yung bagyo or itong LPA na potential na maging bagyo, ay magdadala pa rin po ito ng mga pag-ulan sa malaking bahagi ng ating bansa.
Okay, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, Pag-asa Weather Forecaster Specialist Lian Loreto.
The Anti-Money Laundering Council has directed the freezing of bank accounts belonging to individuals allegedly involved in anomalous flood control projects. Here is our report.
The bank accounts and assets of personalities allegedly involved in irregularities in flood control projects have been frozen. This follows a request by the Anti-Money Laundering Council to the Court of Appeals. According to AMLAC Executive Director Matthew David, the freeze order took effect on Tuesday, September 16.
We are pleased to announce and to report that the Court of Appeals today granted the freeze order on 135 bank accounts and 27 insurance policy connected to individuals and corporations allegedly involved in the irregular flood control projects.
The order aims to prevent the involved parties from withdrawing or transferring funds while the investigation is ongoing. AMLAC did not disclose names, citing confidentiality rules of the Court of Appeals and provisions of the Anti-Money Laundering Act. Earlier, DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon had already written to AMLAC requesting the freeze of bank accounts and assets of those involved in the flood control project anomalies. The list includes 26 individuals, including former and current DPWH personnel and 5 contractors.
We listed down all the respondents to the first complaint that we filed, which includes the now infamous BGC boys, Alcantara, Hernandez, Mendoza, et al., but also includes contractors such as Sara Discaya of St. Timothy Construction, Sally Santos of SIMS, Mr. Mark Arevalo of Wawaw.
Dizon said the freeze order is a major step to hold those involved accountable and recover misappropriated funds. Meanwhile, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas will investigate the same accounts under the Anti-Financial Accounts Scamming Act. For News 5, Gio Robles, We Are One News.
Now, various groups are set to stage protest actions against corruption amid investigations into alleged irregularities in flood control projects. And joining us now is Bianca Skyler Lazaro, convener of Rage for Systemic Change. Magandang umaga. Thanks for joining us. Nakamute po kayo, ma'am? Yes. Can we try that again? Good morning. Can you hear us now? Yan, so
Yeah,
we're having
kasi there's
technical
a
difficulties.
impending rally sa Sunday, no?
Yes,
It's a big one.
September
This is the
21.
trillion peso march, no?
Oo, September 21, coinciding at the anniversary of martial law. Diba?
From
September 21.
the former dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr.
So ngayon, a lot of groups are joining forces para nga dito dun sa, dahil nga dito sa mga, simula na nagkaroon ng investigation dito sa mga anomalous flood
Sumabog tong
control
mga
projects.
flood control
Yes.
projects. And flood control pa lang yan, ha? Hindi pa pinag-uusapan.
Kaya nga, di ba, yung sabi nila, change of leadership in the House of Representatives and even in the Senate, does it mean na mag-celebrate tayo? Because kailangan may punishment.
Oo.
Di ba? Kailangan na hindi lang ito parang to show, parang ang sinasabi nila, hindi lang para kumalma yung publiko. But of course, makita natin, there's really true accountability.
Kaya nga sabi nila, medyong sana ang ginawa nila, since mainit ang flood control, linabas na rin nila lahat ng forms ng corruption. Because yung mga ibang corruption sa ibang project, baka naglilinis na ng mga evidence, di ba?
Okay, we'll try to get back to her later para
we'll
malaman
fix yung audio
natin
lang.
kung ano yung mga plans and activities doon sa gagawing rally sa September 21. But meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte, who faced the House panel alone to defend her office's proposed budget for 2026. We have Arles de los Santos with the details.
At past 9 a.m. on Tuesday, September 16th, Vice President Sara Duterte arrived at the Romualdez Hall in Batasang, Pambansa to present her office's proposed 902.8 million pesos budget for 2026. This is higher than the OVP's 744 million pesos spending fund this year. Sara attended the lower chamber's hearing alone, no undersecretaries, no assistant secretary in tow. After her presentation, Davao 3rd District Congressman Isidro Ungab motioned for parliamentary courtesy to eliminate the need to present the budget line by line. But the Vice President was ready for some queries.
Yes, I waive the privilege.
Some members of the Makabayan bloc immediately seized the opportunity to finally ask the Vice President questions that first off, her foreign travels, which had taken her to Germany, Denmark, Japan, Hong Kong, Qatar, Australia, Korea, France, and Belgium between 2024 and this year.
Paano po pinopondohan yung pagpunta, flight and accommodations ng staff and security ng OVP?
Madam Chair, may I be allowed to ask a question? Magpinsan po ba si Congressman ko ngayon tsaka si Zaldico? Gusto ko
Mr.
lang
Chair, I can
malaman.
answer.
Are they relatives?
I have no familiar relation po to Zaldico or to Representative Zaldico or any of their relatives po.
Sara was also questioned about the 7.4 million pesos spent for security and personnel during travels, allegedly from Filipino taxpayers' money.
No public funds were used for all my travels.
Duterte was also asked about the 73 billion pesos in confidential funds that her office spent in 2022, which the Commission on Audit issued a notice of disallowance on.
Wala raw accomplishment reports na naipakita or sinubmit ang Office of the Vice President para dito. Ano na po ang status ng notice of disallowance na ito?
I suggest that the Congressman ask this during the hearing of the Commission on Audit.
The VP was also asked about confidential funds that supposedly went to characters named Mary Grace Piatos, Miggy Mingo, Xiaomi Ocho, and all others later found out to have no birth or even death records with the Philippine Statistics Authority.
This is the subject of an impeachment trial, and I would not like to discuss the defense for the impeachment trial.
The deliberations finished after an hour. After this, the OVP goes to plenary. Despite her office's budget breezing through today's deliberations, Duterte said she's certain she's not yet free from threat from the impeachment.
Oh yes, kasi kung hindi man yan matuloy ngayon, 2025, I'm sure magpa-file yan 2026, magpa-file yan 2027, or even siguro 2028, right before the presidential elections. So this is all about the presidential elections of 2028.
Meantime, Sara says she had recently spoken to her detained father, former President Digong.
He's okay. Nag-usap kami about politics, nag-usap kami about flood control, nag-usap kami about love life niya.
Mr. Duterte's defense team had claimed their client is no longer fit to stand trial due to cognitive impairment. They added the former chief executive cannot remember places, happenings, and even names of some family members anymore.
Tingin ko naman merong mangyayaring hearing sa competency. So antayin na lang natin yung mga experts.
Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos. We are One News.
Now, various groups are set to stage protests, actions against corruption amid investigations into alleged irregularities in flood control projects. And now joining us, let's try that again, Ms. Bianca Skyler Lazaro, convener of Rage for Systemic Change. Magandang umaga. Can you hear us okay?
Hello, magandang umaga po.
Ayun.
Naririnig na po ako.
Yes, we can hear you.
Ayan.
Alright, so ano po ba yung
Okay.
significance sa mga protesta na ito na gagawin po ninyo?
Ayan. Yung Rage kasi, nabuo siya dahil dun sa mga progressive groups and individuals from different cities sa South Manila, which yung Muntinlupa, Las Piñas, and Parañaque. So yung groups dito and yung progressive individuals, no? Katulad ng mga napakilala namin during our launching nung nagkaroon ng press conference last Sunday. Di binuo siya, itong mga individuals and groups na to, para to make a stand, no? Itong network na to aims to show the citizen stance. And yung stand natin doon is against tayo sa corruption. Kaya nga po nagkaroon currently, nagkakaroon po tayo ng 1 week long na protest against corruption. And sa pangunguna nga po to ng RAGE, or yung Rage for Accountability, Genuineness, and Empowerment for Systemic Change. So sa bahagi po ng South Manila, yung 3 cities po na nabanggit, nagkaroon na nga po siya ng press conference nung linggo. And itong mga susunod na mga araw, magkakaroon din po ulit ng mga kilos protesta. So, kinabukasan, September 18, katulad po ng in-announce ng Piston, magkakaroon po sila ng National Transport Strike, no? Tigil pasada nila. By 5 a.m., makakasama po dito,
Sabay na
no?
kayo.
Yung tatlong syudad nito,
Yeah.
yung Muntinlupa, Las Piñas, and Parañaque. Since meron pong mga Piston members po dito, Piston na JODA, and makikiisa po, no, yung various sectors from 3 cities na to, no, yung mga youth, mga workers natin, women natin, makikiisa po sila dito.
Miss
And
Bianca,
then,
the question
Yes po.
here right now is, of course, how are you going to sustain this fight against the corruption ito, yung mga anomalous flood control projects, because a lot of people are saying also na, sige, mainit ngayong discussion na to, pero baka mamaya mag-die down ito, tapos wala na naman na magra-rally. So how are you going to sustain this?
Yung sa bahagi naman po ng Rage, di meron naman pong mga nakalaan na ng mga tinatawag nating educational discussions. Bukod pa dun sa mga ginagawang kilos protesta araw-araw. So iba pa to dun sa ginagawa namin na araw-araw na ayan nga protest, ganyan. Di syempre, kalangkap nun, di yung educational discussion. Ano pa yung mga kailangan nating malaman? Bakit kailangan nating mag-protest? Bakit nating kailangang maging kailangang mag-protest against ng corruption na to? ano ba yung nangyayari sa atin? Bakit tayo naghihirap? Ganyan. At habang sila ay patuloy lang na kinokorrupt yung buwis natin.
That's right.
So may mga
Bianca, I'd like to ask, no, kasi yung, of course, while we understand yung general message is against corruption ng group nyo, but your group mismo, ano po ang, in other words, specific message? Kasi doon kayo nagkakaiba yung mga sa pupunta sa rally, lahat kayo are unified under no corruption. Pero I've seen several groups blaming the current administration na nag-escalate ang corruption during this time. Some are saying na the Duterte time, some are saying the Aquino time. But sa inyo specifically, ano yung deeper message? Yes, audio. Bianca, audio.
We can't hear you again. Sayang. All right, we'll try to fix that again.
Ayun,
Okay, alright,
nawala ba?
nawala
Sayang,
siya.
maganda
Oo.
yung sasabihin ni
Oo.
Bianca.
So again, that was
Bianca
Miss
Schuyler.
Bianca, Schuyler,
Lazaro.
convener of Rage for Systemic Change. Ilan lang po sila sa mga grupo na magrarally sa September 21.
I like their name, Rage.
Oo.
Because talagang rage
Against corruption.
Rage against corruption is the term.
But of
Boiling
course,
point.
gusto pa rin natin maging peaceful, di ba?
I mean, wag naman parang
Ang
Nepal
Pilipinas naman ay known for yung mga peaceful revolution.
That's why EDSA happened. Isipin mo 20 years under no elections under the former President Marcos Sr. Bago nagkaroon ng 22 years bago nagkaroon ng EDSA revolution. In other words, matagal magtimpi ang Pinoy pero pag nagalit ang Pinoy, rage against corruption.
Alright, so
Wala
that's
na. Wala ba?
on September 21
September
along
21.
with other groups as well.
Sayang kasi I wanted to ask kung ano yung deeper message Kasi doon nagkakatalo iba-ibang grupo Yung iba are saying, nangyayari to under PBBM
Just make sure lang hindi magagamit itong mga grupo na to ng mga, alam mo yon, ng mga political heads that have political agenda.
Basta malinaw, corruption ang pinag-uusapan.
Yes.
Yun ang message natin. And we should stand guard against corruption. Yun ang mensahe nila. At wag sana pasukan ng political colors for the election.
Exactly. So,
Alright.
thank you so much kay Ms. Bianca
Sayang.
Schuyler Lazaro, convener of Rage for Systemic Change.
We hope to have her back again.
Of course.
All right, don't go away. We're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on the One News.
Metro Manila mayors have approved a uniform parking ban on national primary roads to ease traffic congestion. Under MMDA Regulation Number 25-001, the Metro Manila Council prohibited parking on major thoroughfares such as EDSA, Ross Boulevard, Taft Avenue, Quezon Avenue, Commonwealth Avenue, Katipunan Avenue, and Bonifacio Drive. On-street parking may be allowed on secondary roads through local ordinances except from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Swift Traffic Action Group, equipped with body cameras, will enforce the ban.
Now, to talk more about this, we have Attorney Crisanto Saruca Jr., Director 4 of the Traffic Discipline Office and Officer in Charge of the Metro Manila Council Secretariat. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and also good morning to your viewers.
Alright, Attorney, simula na po ba yung implementation ng parking ban na ito?
Kahapon po, nagkaroon po ng pagpupulong ang Metro Manila Council. Andun po ang ating mga mayors at kanilang mga representatives. At ipinasa nga po itong ating MMDA Regulation Number 25-001. Harmonizing public street parking in Metro Manila and for other purposes. So, i-finalize lang po namin yung version na ito. May konting amendments lang po ang mga mayor kahapon, and then we will already implement after due publication and registration with the Office of the Administrative Register po sa UP Law Center.
Meron po ba tong grace period? Kasi iba-iba po yung mga, of course, yung infrastructure sa iba't ibang city. So, I was wondering kung meron pong i-allow ang MMDA
Especially sa commercial.
Oo, na gracing period for this, or grace period.
Definitely po magkakaroon po ng very close coordination ng MMDA and our Metro Manila local government units kasi kagaya nga po na nabanggit nyo, iba-iba po ang nature and character ng mga kalsada natin sa Kalakang, Maynila. So may peculiarities po ang bawat LGU and the MMDA will take that into consideration in consultation po dito sa mga traffic heads ng ating LGUs.
Kasi attorney, ang daming mga establishments na hindi sumunod sa mga zoning regulations dati na nagtayo ng mga kanilang mga place of businesses na walang provided parking. So ano po ang mangyayari sa kanila with regards to this? That's why we were asking about the grace period.
Opo, ito po yung nagiging kasagutan dyan po sa situation na yan na may mga establishments, mga restaurants, stores, and other business establishments na wala pong proper parking at sa kalsada po pumaparada o dili kaya ay sa sidewalk naman. So with this regulation po, i-curb po natin ya ang na-identify na problem na yan and of course po, hindi naman agad-agad mai-implement kaagad ito dahil may mga pinag-uusapang road markings, devices, signages na dapat pa pong i-install para naman po sa kaalaman ng mga motorista at mga magpaparada. So may panahon po talagang dapat pag-usapan, may grace period po, tama po kayo.
Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. That was Attorney Crisanto Saruca Jr., Director 4 of the Traffic Discipline Office and Officer in Charge of the Metro Manila Council Secretariat. Now, let's head over now to the interview that is going on at the House of Representatives. We have Congressman Kong Hoon being interviewed. I guess that is about the change of
naging magaling din siyang Vice Governor. At talagang nakita naman natin na naging stable naman nung pinamamahalaan niya yung probinsya ng Isabela. Talagang maganda naman yung kanyang naging pamamalakad.
Sir, what triggered the resignation? Was he forced to? Was the speaker forced to do so?
Siguro nakita rin ni speaker na actually, to tell you honestly, matagal na rin naman na nagko-contemplate si speaker, dahil nakikita rin niya na masyado nang tinatamaan din yung house, yung institution, at talagang mahal din niya yung Congress. Mahal din niya yung mahal din niya yung administrasyon, lalong-lalo na administration of President PBM. So nakita rin niya na so kaya niya ginawa yung yung sakripisyo na at least to step down. Para yun nga mas magkakaroon siya ng oras na harapin din yung mga accusations. Mas magkakaroon siya ng panahon para sagutin yung mga sinasabi, yung mga intriga. So, yun din yung isang dahilan kung bakit mas pinili niya na magsakripisyo para din sa institusyon at para din sa bansa.
Did party leaders try to stop him?
Wala namang ganun. Siyempre, kung sasabihin mo na malungkot, siyempre, natural lang yon dahil tao lamang naman tayo. Naging mabuti naman si Speaker Romualdez sa mga congressmen at sa institusyon. Marami din siyang naging mga kaibigan ng mga miyembro ng Kamara. So, natural lang yun na may kalungkutan din. Pero yun nga, we have to move on at naandyan na. Magkakaroon tayo ng bagong liderato ng House at naandyan si Speaker Bogie D na tingin ko sinusuportahan naman ng mga majority ng mga congressmen. Okay?
May nagmakiusap po kasi si Speaker sa bago?
Wala naman. Ang sinabi lang ni Speaker na ituloy-tuloy lang yung suporta sa ating administrasyon at tuloy-tuloy lang yung trabaho. Huwag hayaan yung outside noise na makaapekto sa trabaho ng House. At saka siguraduhin lang na matulungan yung ating mamamayan at lahat ng programa na makakatulong sa administrasyon at sa ating mga kababayan magtuloy-tuloy lang.
What do you mean by ginagawa?
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ano po yung ibig niya sabihin na tinatamaan na yung Kongreso?
Yung ano, flags.
It is what it is, no? So, ibig ko sabihin, kasi napakadami, nakikita naman natin, no? Alam nyo rin naman yun, na napakadami rin namang tayo narinig ng mga intriga, di ba? So, yun yung ibig ko sabihin doon. Thank you, ha?
Thank you, sir. Yes, salamat. Yes, thank you. That was the first district, Zambales first district representative Jay Kong-hoon being interviewed a while ago at the House of Representatives.
About the impending speakership change later on.
That's right.
All right, a Filipino crew member was injured after two China Coast Guard ships blasted a Philippine fisheries vessel with water cannons near Bajo de Masinloc. A BFAR crew member was hit by flying glass fragments from a broken window on Tuesday. The BRP Dato Gumbay Piang, which was delivering supplies to fishermen, sustained heavy damage to its windows and equipment. Despite the attack, the vessel evaded further harassment and rejoined its fleet. The Coast Guard vowed to continue supporting fisherfolk and to defend the country's rights in the West Philippine Sea.
Now in sports, Alas Pilipinas pulled off a stunning upset after toppling Egypt in 4 sets in the FIVB Men's Volleyball World Championship at the Mall of Asia Arena on Tuesday. The victory marked the country's first ever win in the prestigious tournament. Brian Bagunas powered the team with 25 points, while Leo Ordiales had 21 and Mark Espejo added 13. The Filipinos look to ride their momentum as they face powerhouse Iran on Thursday. Congratulations.
Congratulations. So, ano yan?
Something
positive.
Something positive.
And all this heaviness, di ba? Well, abangan nila mamaya ang mga reports sa One News and about the speakership change, di ba? Get your popcorn. Alam mo naman ang politics, naging
mga bandang alas 3
popcorn
daw yan,
event.
ano?
Hopefully, well, if all goes smoothly daw, di alas 3, magkakaroon na ng resolution lahat. We want to see direction niya. Oo. But people are hoping for a speaker kasi na
and this is not the end of it all.
not allied with anyone and who will really rock the boat. But let's see what the possible new speaker will do. All right. And before I let everyone go, I'd like to leave all our viewers with a quote. Justice and power must be brought together so that whatever is just may be powerful and whatever is powerful may be just. From Lacey Pascal. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.